So, if you want to find out how we helped Luke to hit his first 10K month as a high ticket closer in just 5 months' time working with us, that is what we are going to go through today. We're going to go through his story about how he started his working life in the NHS, spent 11 years there, knowing that it was never going to lead anywhere he wanted to be. His first steps into the world of remote when he started appointment setting, realizing that again it was never going to lead him to anywhere he wanted to be. He was barely making a K and a half as an appointment setter for months. But when he chose to work with us in as little as 5 months, he was able to scale up to 10K months. He was able to travel to Brazil and Colombia, live the dream he'd always wanted to live. So, we're going to find out his experiences doing that, remote closing all over the world, how he actually found his time with the Close Pro Academy, even though he's still got some time left with us. But we're going to dive into Luke's story now. Enjoy.
Here we go. So, Luke, it is time to catch up properly. So, it's always nice to come on when someone's done a big milestone like yourself. So, we've just done our first 10K month. What's that in 5 months' time since you joined?
Yeah, 5 months exactly.
Smashed it, mate. Absolutely smashed it. So, yeah, like I said, it's always nice to really kind of go through your journey, what actually it looked like, what happens before, why we kind of come onto this space, what the process was like. So, yes, starting out, mate, like what did life look like before high ticket sales for you?
Oh, mate. So my journey really, I mean, little backstory. I worked in the NHS, did it for 11 years. So I had no business being in the online space whatsoever. But, for me, I always knew there was something more out there. Tried my hand at a few different things, tried Amazon FBA, tried drop shipping, both failed. Found appointment setting, was doing appointment setting for a while. Didn't really see a lot of success there. I was only probably putting in about 1.5K a month. Did that for about 8 or 9 months. And I was probably working twice as hard as I'm working now. So that wasn't really working for me. And then I came across yourself. We got in contact, joined the community, and sort of like the rest is history.
And yeah, you joined 5 months ago, right? So where are we? Yeah. Jesus, and we've said like we're just September 25. We've just finished up on what was that, 10 and a half, 11 or something like that?
10.5. Yeah. Yeah. What I had my
10 and a
main
half.
Yeah, I
Wow.
had I had my main offer, which I got the bulk of it, but because I've worked across multiple offers in the past, I had previous commissions coming in as well. So that's another nice thing as well, just having that kind of accumulating,
Yeah.
as the months go on and building up, which is nice.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it was about 9K in, 9K in your main offer, but a K and a half. Yeah. What's that? Must have been about a K and a half just off, the other offers that you had. But that's funny because
Yeah.
that's just a little bit of a trickling through from some of the old stuff you were closing.
Yeah.
Still equates to more than you were making with the appointment setting. But um,
Yeah, exactly.
so 11 years. I didn't realize it was that long for you in the NHS. So 11 years in the NHS. So yeah, how did you come into the sales? Like, how do you go from NHS to sales?
To be honest with you, it was sort of like after COVID, I just kind of had that realization that this job was okay. Yeah, it was going to give me an okay living, one big holiday, maybe two holidays a year. But there was so much more I knew that was out there. And like I said, tried my hand at a few other different things, didn't really work out for me. Um, but yeah, for me, high ticket closing, when I started and I really committed to the process, and now I'm actually doing it, it's like it is such a great, it was such a great opportunity for me to do, and a very bizarre shift, but really happy I'd done it because I would have just been stuck doing what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. And what were you kind of making in the NHS a year?
So on the anything between 2.6 and 2.8 a month. Um, but then having to do, nights, days, alternative shifts, long 12-hour shifts. I did security, so I was dealing with all the weird and wonderful. Anytime we had mental health was on the rise as well, especially post-COVID. So it become really taxing, sort of like not just physically but mentally too, especially with all the shift work. Um, I worked with some good people. I think that's probably the reason why I stayed in it for so long, and I had some good managers for the most part. But again, it's just I didn't really being like told what to do. I've never really been that person, and I had some managers that I didn't really click or get on with, and all of that combined, I would just say was sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back, and just really prompted me to leave.
Yeah, it was the same with me in school and in any work. Like if I had a manager that I actually got on with, or a teacher I got on with, or anyone like that, even in the military, like if I had a corporal or a sergeant I got on with, I would excel. I would always excel. But it was like I would either be an A or an F, depending on who was kind of at the front of that. And it's so hard. I can't work for someone I don't respect, I don't like. I find it nearly impossible. So yeah, I know what you mean, man. But when you come into the journey as well. I know that, we did have to go through a few offers, but how many offers did you have by like month three? Was it two? Was it three?
By month three, I was sort of like working on multiple offers, and they were okay.
Yeah.
Like I was earning more money with them than I was sort of doing security work in the hospital and appointment setting. But it was a great opportunity for me to really like learn and like hone in my skill set across like multiple different industries, so business to business and business to customer or consumer, and it
Yeah.
allowed me to get to a point in my career now where I've on the last offer that I've entered into. I've only been in 3 weeks, and it's a very big, company, team of about 60
Yeah.
plus closers. And within 3 weeks, I was ranked number three, their third top best performing closer, and cash collected over $90,000 within 3 weeks. All off of the back of the skills I'd
Yeah.
learned previous offers, but the foundation came from Close Pro. And I even had loads of people asking me,
Yeah.
like, bro, where did you learn closing? Like, like when they were like, how long have you been
Yeah.
doing
Well,
it? That was
yeah,
the crazy thing.
you've sent a
The
couple of
crazy,
people over to us already.
the crazy part about it was they were saying, how long have you been in this space? How long have you been in closing? Were you closing
Yeah.
before? I said, no, like officially, I've only actually been closing for about 3 months, officially closing. And they're like, no way. And so
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny. And now I've sent quite a few people over to you as well off of the back of that.
Yeah, but I think it is a testament to why we do what we do. I always focus a lot on the sales, and like we speak about a lot. It's a shame that there's so many people in this space that they just brush upon the sales, and it's about, yeah, we're going to guarantee you a role, and they just give you one of these very, very low tier offers that they're working with. They don't give you any support on the sales. And I think on the other side to that, we get so many people that like, well, I don't need sales training. I've been in sales for 5 years. But then, like you say, someone who's been trained is outselling people who've been in sales over a decade. And there's a reason for that. It's because we focus so much on the sales. I was jumping on these live call reviews with you. We were making those tweaks and adjustments as time went on. So even though the first few offers we were in, they don't lead us to this 10K a month opportunity, but they rarely do. When you're in a position with no sales experience, you are fresh to the industry, you've done the right training, but it's hard to attract. And understandably so. If you've got an offer where you can give someone a 10K opportunity, you're not going to take someone with no experience. So it was, building, getting that experience in, getting the skills, but now you're in a position. I think it's mad. It's like now you're actually given the opportunity because you had the experience. You've proven that you can outsell people that have been in sales a decade because of how much like time we dedicated to this. So yeah, I think that's absolutely mad. But what I always love to see as well is when you put your 10K month in there. We had like 20 odd people. Moment that went up, like so supportive. Like, how have you found the community in the Close Pro as well?
The community is fantastic. Like I still talk to most people that I was coming up at, whereas I was coming up as a new closer. I'm still in contact with all of these
Mm.
people. And now like I've developed such a great network of people around me that if I ever needed like a new job or if they needed something from me, we just reach out to each other and we just help and support each other. And even as I was training as a closer coming up, jumping on role plays, networking with people, making some really like great friends in the space. Without
Mm.
the community, there's no way I'd be where I am today. No way. Because you need to jump on and
Yeah.
do role plays. You need to learn from people who've been in sort of the game longer than you as well. I've jumped on role plays with other people in other sort of spaces, and they haven't got mentors, they haven't got someone they can turn to that can give them that feedback, that can say, look, you need to improve this, or this is something that's going right, but tweak this. And you just see the difference in the level of skill. People trying to do it on their own, still in the same position. I've actually seen some people who I was role playing with in the past on some offers that I've now joined as a closer, but they've come in as appointment setters. But their initial,
Wow.
goal was to be a closer, but they've not made the mark to become a closer because they've tried to do it on their own.
Yeah.
So they're at setter level, and that's the only thing that they can really do.
And then yeah, you as a setter have come in and been number 3 out of 60 closers in the first month. Wow.
Yeah, not even first month, about 3 weeks. About 3
Yeah.
weeks.
No, like I say, man, it is solidifying. When we do put, because some people, they don't want to do it. Some people struggle when we give them so much sales training. But I always say that you need to be prepared for this industry. You need to come through and be ready to be that top performing closer. Because if you're not, yeah, like them guys, you're going to be kicked off and you might be just bumped down to appointment setting. But yeah, I think it was a shame that you couldn't make obviously our live event that we did last month. But I know that you were doing what you came here to do, right? We were traveling. What was first? Because you were going to switch up to Poland, but then we were like, right, I'm going to take a break, and was it Brazil and Colombia or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I kind of went a bit extreme with the whole closing thing. So I really wanted to dedicate everything to it, but I also wanted to really enjoy the remote living, the remote lifestyle, because that's
Mm.
essentially, what we are as closers. We can work anywhere in the world as long as you've got a laptop and Wi-Fi, you can work. And so for
Yeah.
myself, while I was training 5 months ago, I was in Poland for what, 2 months in Poland. I was in Brazil, and now I'm in Medellin, Colombia, speaking to you. Working, traveling, living free, doing all the things I want on my terms. Which is the best part about this role. If you're fed up or you're bored in your job, you're not earning enough money, you've got the potential to earn. If you want to travel more, you can travel and earn. The world is so much more open to you and so much more available when you do a role like this, rather than just sort of like being stuck having to ask permission, book annual leave. Oh, you might not be able to get it, and then you go on holiday, you come back, and that's you for the rest of the year. You can't do anything. So it's been an incredible experience. This whole journey has been absolutely amazing from start to finish, because when I left the UK to go traveling to pursue closing and train, to have started from zero and within 5 months get to a point now that I've earned $10,000
In a
within
single
five
month, yeah.
months. And I'm now going back to I'm now in preparation, going back to the UK, see all my friends and family again. And now I can tell them I've smashed every single goal I set out to achieve 5 months ago. There's no better feeling than that. The 10K is incredible. Like it felt so far away, but now that I've got it, it just hasn't really sunk in yet. And to earn that amount of money in such a short period of time, you name me any job where you could walk into that and earn that money, unless you're coming in at like a senior sort of like director or CEO level, but coming as a complete newbie to earn that amount of money in such a short time frame, there's no other job out there that can do that.
Yeah. Well, it's because, it's one of the only opportunities where you're given what you get, like, put in. I think that's the excuse that a lot of people make, is that they don't have these things because it's the job's fault, it's the market's fault, it's this. But then when there are these so cut and dry things you can get into where, hey, if you want to make this money, all you got to do is work hard. Now, that's obviously where someone like me comes in. I'll give you the blueprint as such. So yeah, there's not as much to figure out. But as we know, even that, for some people, they can't do that. They can't even show up for themselves every day. They can't put themselves on that path and walk down it consistently. But anyone, like, it doesn't matter. That's what I keep saying. Like, we've had accountants in here, and I think accountants are probably like the anti-salespeople. Like, anybody wants to come in and work hard. This is what it's for. And like, this is also the thing we say, right? It's like, it is, you get the rewards, but you have to put in the work. Like, you've put in the grind, and now you're living. You're living the rewards of it. You're able to travel. You're able to earn money. You're able to work a lot less. But unless you're willing to front below that learning, that putting yourself out there, going through a couple of offers maybe to really refine your skills, then you're not going to get to 10K a month, traveling the world, all those things. So, mate, it's so good to see that you've finally come on the other side and we can actually enjoy ourselves from all the work that we put in. And, you know, I know a lot of people. I've traveled everywhere other than South America. So I think Colombia is last on my list to go. But yeah, how have you found actually traveling, working in Colombia and Brazil? What's your day to day look like?
It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, my day to day, I mean, because of the different time zones that I've been in. Um, sorry, bro, fucking 2 secs, mate. Yeah, so like my day to day has just been like fantastic because it's all been on my terms. So, you know, when I was in Poland, I would wake up, I would go to the gym, you know, I would sort of like do my morning routine, do a bit of studying. This was sort of like when I was training to be a closer. I wasn't actually a closer at this point. But then my day just consisted of, you know, doing role plays, doing outreach, networking. When I was in Brazil, that's when I got my first offer. And from there, again, it was just wake up, go to the gym, do a few calls. Then I would go down to the beach, have a walk, have a swim, you know, come back, do a little bit more studying, you know, just to keep the skills and the tools
Mm.
sharp. Um, you know, in Colombia, same sort of situation, wake up, go to the gym, you know, go for a little walk around the town, take some calls, you know, jump on some meetings, do my end of day report, and then sort of like just go out into the town, whether that's, you know, go to Provenza, which is sort of like the party district here. If you're into that, it's not really my thing, but you know, I'd go and have a beer, just taking all the atmosphere, and then just, you know, on the weekends, just going out and then just enjoying myself. Or even sometimes during the week, like if I decided that I wanted to, there was an event on that I wanted to go to, I would just block out my calendar and I would just go. You know, I'll just make up some calls on the weekends. But everything was done
Mm.
on my terms. Whatever I wanted to do, I did. Whatever I didn't want to do, I didn't do. You know.
Nice, man. Nice. Well, then how have you found Brazil and Colombia? Like it's yeah, I know it's a
Uh,
big bucket list item for a lot of people.
Oh man, it's the best. I would recommend it to anybody. I've actually been to Brazil before. Last time I was there, God, it was back in the when the Rio Olympics were on. So like
Oh,
2016 we're talking about. Yeah, so to go back and just to see the old place again was awesome. But this is my first time in Medellin, Colombia, and I would recommend it to anybody. It's got it's got a bit of everything. You know, the food's incredible, the
yeah.
culture's amazing. You know, I'm staying in this absolutely sensational apartment. Um, yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. Even
Yeah.
Poland, even before that, you know, just the staying in Poland, traveling around. And I literally just woke up one day and I was like, okay, where do I want to go next? I was like, "Do you know what? I'm
Mhm.
gonna go to South America. Why not?" And I've actually now, you know, I'm gonna go back to the UK. I'm only gonna be there for about 9 days. I'm literally going to
Mm.
just say hi to my family, and then after that, I'm going to Turkey, and then after that, I'm going to Georgia. Coming back for Christmas, and then I've got plans to either come back to South America or maybe spend some time in Italy. But world's my oyster. I can do whatever I want
Yeah.
because I've
100.
facilitated that kind of life, and I now can live that
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Yeah, that was the greatest thing I ever done. You know, was just not having a plan, meeting people, seeing where I wanted to go next. It's like I went from Spain to come back to the UK for a couple of days, then Bali, 3 months there, and then I went straight to Canada. And I was planning to come back to the UK, but I literally was in my Airbnb, packed everything up, was about to go to the UK, looked at the weather and saw it was pissing down with rain, and I went, nah, I'm gonna go live in Australia for 3 months instead because I had the clothes on my back, I had my laptop, and oh mate, that is just the best feeling you can ever have. So yeah, I'm glad that we're finally living that, man. But like I said, it's been it's been a journey so far, but the thing is, yeah, we're 5 months in, so we've still got so much longer to go. So I'm going to be looking forward to the catch up on the 20K, on the 30K. I'm sure that they're coming soon.
Oh, it's around the corner, man. You know, your goals, they're only ever sort of like a horizon. Like everyone dreams about hitting that 10K, but when you get there, you just want more. But the thing is that
Yeah.
God facilitates it. You know, you're able to do that. And you know, I've got big ambitions. Like you said, mate, I want to be hitting 20, 30K a month. And there's people that are doing it. I mean, inside of my current offer, you know, our top closer, he made 30 grand in a month. And this is
Yeah.
pounds. You know, he cash collected over 450K.
Mm.
$450,000. He's doing what like a lot of sales teams are doing, you know, in groups. He did it on his own.
Yeah.
That's £30,000 payday for him. He's making what some people are making in a year.
Yeah.
you
No,
know.
absolutely nuts. But that's what we're here to do, man. So yeah, look, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the kind of the catch up. And like I said, we're only getting started, mate. So I'm going to be looking forward to the next one when we're doing at least double that.
It's gonna happen.
Absolute pleasure, man.
Let's do it.